book. It was just more of a fun kind of kids book. That's what it was, and that's why it wasn't doing as well as like X-Men or X Factor or Wolverine. Now, how many of you were alive and bought New Mutants '98? I know this is going to be a very small share of hands when it actually came out. Now, I'll know. Okay, I know you're old enough. I see that you're old enough. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Because again, that was 25 years ago for me, and I was just a young punk trying to get ahead in the comics industry. And at the time, the two guys who were my rivals, my peers, were Todd McFarlane, who was drawing Spider-Man. You might have heard of Spider-Man, he's a popular character. And Jim Lee was drawing this group of characters called X-Men. You might have heard of them. And I had the New Mutants. And I was like, crap, I gotta put a new fresh coat of paint on this house fast. And they said, Rob, if this book doesn't, they basically said, if you want to take it over, that's awesome, but we're going to cancel it if it doesn't get much better because it's kind of it's lagging behind. And there were awesome characters in that New Mutants book, but it just didn't have the consequence that the X-Men or Wolverine or X Factor had. So they let me create Cable, and you, the fans, those guys who raised your hands, you started buying copies of New Mutants again, and New Mutant sales went up and up and up and up and up. And so they rewarded me, letting me write the book, and then I hired, Marvel hired him, but Fabian joined me with his awesome ear for dialogue and his great, I don't do the best dialogue. You don't want me to dialogue your book, so we're glad he did. And New Mutants '98 launched to about 750,000 copies. When I took over New Mutants, it was selling 100,000 copies. And the reason I tell you that, like I said, that was kind of the cancellation point. And the reason I tell you that is, again, it was a big triumph for me as a kid. When you get into comics, you just want to make sure that you can keep drawing comics. And if your sales go up, then you know that you at least get a chance to keep drawing comics. And so when Fabian joined me after I had been on New Mutants for over a year, and then Deadpool, I introduced Deadpool and Domino, and we've kind of formed X-Force, and we launched X-Force, and that sold 5 million copies. And then Deadpool's popularity in New Mutants '98, you guys down here wrote letters and let Marvel know you wanted more of them. And they said, Rob, can you move his storyline up? And I'll tell you why I'm telling you this, because some of you have heard it before, but I just want to make sure it's in the right context. We moved the storyline up because we liked, pleasing the readers. And the readers had demanded that Deadpool be in the comic more. And that's why the second issue of X-Force, the second issue of Spider-Man, which sold 3 million, has Spider-Man on the cover. The second issue of X-Men has X-Men on the cover. The second issue of X-Force is Deadpool. And that's for a reason. That's because the fans had demanded it. And hey, I was 23 by then, and I just, again, when the fans tell you we want more of something, we gave it to them. With this movie, they couldn't put Deadpool in the corner. And it's awesome now because people get to talk about it. And Ryan has gone on record saying it took him 11 years to get it to screen. And this summer it'll be 7 years that Fox optioned Deadpool. But the reason he didn't get it sooner was some questionable management at the top. And thank God they broomed them out. Woo! Boom! Off the stage. And the new management came in. And I think they said, why aren't we making this movie again? And somewhere along the line, some phantom ghost leaked that footage. And I'll tell you, if for those of you who don't know, San Diego Comic-Con is a big coming out party for all the big movies every year. I've gone to every San Diego Comic-Con since 1981. My dad took me on a train when I was a little kid, and it blew me away. I actually met Chris Claremont for the first time there and was shaking like a little kid because I was so in awe of him. And seriously, I'm not doing what I'm doing without Chris Claremont. It's so cool that he's here at this show. I wanted to be Chris Claremont. And the reason I was able to do Deadpool and Cable and all these other characters is because Chris started the New Mutants, and it's literally guys like him that paved the way for guys like me. And so I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Before that.
Getting the movie made.
I told you I'm out of sorts today. San Diego Comic-Con. Okay, I'm focused. All right. I told Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, I think I'm sick. I'm about to pass out, but I'm gonna rally. So thank you for hanging with me. The Comic-Con, everybody brought their big movie in 2014. Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill took the stage and said, "We're Superman and Batman." And I was there with my kids in Hall H, and we were like, screaming. And then the Avengers came out and showed you Age of Ultron footage later that day. Everybody plays their best hand. And there was still no Deadpool even on the docket. And so San Diego runs Thursday through Sunday, and Sunday was done. And you'd kind of seen the best that everybody had to show and what was coming in the future. And I live 90 minutes from San Diego. I drove home, had dinner with my friends, got my car, drove home to Orange County, and you're tired at the end of San Diego. Imagine this times 10 for 5 days, because it's actually Wednesday. I said Thursday, it's Wednesday to Sunday. And so I walked in, I remember I put my bags down, I collapsed on the couch. It's 10:30, I turn on HBO, what's on? And then my phone goes boom, 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 boom. And it's like, the footage is leaked, the footage is leaked, the footage is leaked. And that's not an accident. I didn't leak it. I had to swear under oath I didn't leak it. But boy, did I watch it a lot and retweet it a lot, because I'm like, who cares? It's out. And I remember Reese, one of the writers, I said, oh, he tweeted about it, so it must be safe. So if they shoot somebody, they'll shoot these guys first. I'm just following. But so the next morning, I think it had 25 million hits. And I think it's just funny. San Diego was over, and the biggest thing to come out of that weekend was the leaked Deadpool footage. And what happened was it led to the movie that's in theaters right now. Absolute direct correlation. So whoever leaked it, we thank them. And you're awesome, because you gave us a killer movie. And my investment in the movie is that I met everybody along the way over the last 6 years. And they're really good people. When you meet good people, especially artistic people, because like I said, we all do what we do because we want to do more of it. You want to draw another page, you want to write another script. And Rhett and Paul and Ryan and Simon Kinberg and Tim Miller, the director, these are awesome guys. And they had to wait for years. And when they finally got a chance to make the movie, it was exciting. And it was a year ago, 2 weeks from now, that I went to the set. And I can't believe, once they greenlit it, it happened. And they shot the movie in 3 months. By Memorial Day of last year, they had wrapped the movie. It was a March, April, May shoot. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And in July, San Diego was early last year, and they showed the trailer. And that's when the world kind of got to see the vision of the movie. And it's just really exciting. Now, for those of you who've seen the movie, I'm going to ask some of you, what your favorite parts were. But did you stay all the way through and see the very end? And what did he say at the end?
Abel's going to be in it.
What? Sequel. And what did he say about sequels? Oh, okay. See, I'm not allowed to talk about that, ironically, but you can. Yeah, I'm like, well, why is it on the trailer if I can't talk about it? But see, I just had you talk about it. They have some really great plans, and they're going to reveal them very soon, and it's going to be very exciting, and I think we're all in for, if you like that ride, the Deadpool ride, it only gets better from here. So stay tuned, and if you ask me questions, I'll try and coyly answer around them. But see, you said that word, I didn't. Sequel's out. Sequel, that's in the papers, they've said that. But I was asked not to talk about the other thing, so I can't, but you can. So here's the deal. I usually open it up to questions, but I'm going to get ahead of one of the questions. If this question isn't asked in the first two, it'll be the first time in 5 years. Last year I did 19 conventions. I went like bonko crazy on the convention circuit. But this is always first. Hey Rob, how'd you come up with Deadpool? I'm going to try and do the fast version so I don't lull you to sleep.